I swear to God, I'm just gonna rip that fucking tag out. Alright. So I'm watching more of the questioning of Amy Coney Barrett. There's two things, just two fucking things I'm getting tired of hearing about. First of all, and I would say of the two, least important, I'm getting tired of hearing about how everybody's terrified of Amy Coney Barrett. Like, that is one thing that every Democrat, well, no, yeah, fuck it. Every Democrat has pretty much brought up that either one of their constituents has called them, or many of their constituents has called them, or a lot of people have been calling them, talking about how fucking scared they are of Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation. Continually, I am hearing about how many people are terrified of this. Look, y'all motherfuckers were terrified of Brett Kavanaugh too. And since he's been on the court, everybody seems to be pretty alright with it. Like, not much has fucking changed. And they have not been resoundingly voting in Trump's favor. So, like, I don't fucking, like, the reason why people are so terrified is because, like, the Democrats they have representing them, they're telling them about all these awful fucking things that she's gonna do. And then I'm watching the fucking hearing, right? And I love this one guy. This one guy, I can't even remember his name. But this dude, he's like, look, he's like, first things first, here's one thing I want to talk about. Even when we were debating Obamacare, all of us said pre-existing conditions, good idea. We need to have that be a thing, that's okay. That people with pre-existing conditions, we need to protect them. We all agree that needs done. And he's like, and I was part of a bill that specifically would write into law protection for pre-existing conditions. That would be a law. You cannot say fuck you and your pre-existing condition. You have to accept them. Period. They get health insurance if they want it. Fuck off. No, you cannot refuse pre-existing conditions anymore. And Democrats voted it down. And I'm like, yes, yes, bring that shit up because, dude, it's true. There have been multiple bills now that have been tried to push through that have to protect pre-existing conditions. All of them proposed by Republicans, and all of them get voted down. Because when they want to protect pre-existing conditions, well, that's cool. When Donald Trump wants to protect pre-existing conditions, well, Donald Trump doesn't want to protect pre-existing conditions. So we're going to make sure that we get to keep saying that. So no to your bill, protecting pre-existing conditions. Like, you think that's really what it's, like, it could be more than that? Like, you really think it's more than that? Imagine if the Republicans propose a bill that says from here on out, it's illegal to reject somebody on a pre-existing condition. Like, if that passed, what would that do? Well, first of all, it would protect people with pre-existing conditions. It would make it illegal to refuse somebody because of their pre-existing condition. That's what we all want, right? Like, that's the fucking arrangement. That's the agreement. That's what we all love, right? That's the deal. We want that, yeah. But it would mean that the Republican or the Democrats can't point at Donald Trump and go, he wants to fuck you out of your pre-existing condition protection. They can't use that anymore. That's seriously a trade that is beyond them to make. They cannot make that trade. They cannot write into law that pre-existing conditions will be protected, because it would give Donald Trump a win. It would take one of their arrows out of their quiver. Right? Like, it's fucking exhausting. And this is the thing. So much of this shit is not televised. Or it is televised, and who the fuck is watching it? Who knows that actually happened? Who? Who's even watching this? Like, it makes me laugh so hard when they're like, well, you know, we're gonna go ahead and we gotta tell the American people, you know, the American people need to know this. I'm like, who the fuck other than me is watching? Nobody. Like, who else came home after work today and said, oh shit, I gotta get on my fucking work clothes and stuff because I gotta turn the fucking hearing back on? Because Maisie's dumbass was talking her dumb shit. And I wanted to fucking hear the end of it. Because I just love screaming about Maisie Verona. Right? But no. It took me too long. She was gone. And I got to listen to a Republican talk to her. This is a lady that was all about women and women as women. And I got to tell you, man, I wanted to kiss Amy Coney Barrett at one point during that. Because she's like, what would you say to women that to encourage them and blah, 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 right? And she goes, well, generally I would tell people. She's like, anybody, not just women. And I was like, yes! Like, I love this chick. The more I listen to her answer their questions, I love this chick. I want her confirmed. This is a judge I want. I'm serious. Because, and I got into a big discussion with somebody, and I'm about to talk about this in the next video, but I got into a big discussion with somebody about the courts. And they were telling me their assumptions about what I thought. And it kind of dawned on me that, no, I've never really talked about exactly what I think the Supreme Court should consist of. Because why the fuck would I bother? Don't you know what the Supreme Court should consist of? And then it occurred to me, shit, some people might not actually know a goddamn thing about the fucking Supreme Court. So, the role of the Supreme Court is the same role, technically, in a sense, as the military, right? As far as politics is concerned, no. Like, that's supposed to be their role in our government. Our military and our Supreme Court, as far as politics is concerned, no. That's why when you watch the State of the Union, and this is the thing that's brought up every year, because apparently every year people fucking forget, but whatever. Every year at the State of the Union, somebody that's a genius notices for the first time that the Supreme Court and the military, you know, the generals, they don't clap at the president. And it's always brought up as they must really hate Donald Trump, or they must really hate Obama, or they must really hate Bush. No, dumb fuck. It's not because they don't like the guy you don't like. It's because they're above politics. Like, when you're the strongest dude in the room, you're above politics, if you choose to be. If you choose to not be, well, that's where you have oppressed one side and a loftier other side, right? Because all the might oppresses all of the other shit, right? So, our military officers, our generals who sit in on the SOTU, they are State of the Union address, for those who don't understand, who aren't hip to the lingo. They sit there and they listen to the speech. And then after the speech is over, they stand up and applaud. Because the speech is over. You applaud the president, you know, thank you for coming and giving us this address. I could give a fuck less about what you said as far as politics stuff, whatever, but thank you for coming and giving us the address, right? That's what our military does. That's why whenever Donald Trump says, this country will never be socialist, as powerful and awesome as a statement as that is, And everybody on one side of the room fucking freaks out, and they're yelling and screaming. The least decorum. This is the time where all of the people in government don't really have, like, the president has to be, you know, he has to have decorum, and the two people standing, you know, sitting behind the president, they have to have decorum. But everybody else can just fucking hoot and holler and whatever the fuck they want to do, right? And do little chants and shit and USA, like it was crazy. But anyways, so this is the time that they get to cut loose. And they fucking freak out. Everybody's yelling and screaming, USA, USA, you know, ah! Right? And he looks at all the Democrats and Bernie Sanders just looking so, fuck you, man. And it's just, the whole situation felt so good if you aren't a socialist. And like, it was so great. And then it shows the fucking judges and the army guy, or the military, and they're like, because even though every one of their heartbeats is now up at least 50 BPM, they can't show that in any way. They're not allowed. They are beyond that shit. All the military guys are going, yeah, fucking ain't right, it won't. Over my dead body, bitch. Try and make that happen. See how fast we become political. Like, that's what all the generals are thinking. They can't say that shit. Because they're above that shit, you know? If it comes down to it, it comes down to it. We see what the fuck happens then. But they're above that shit. They're beyond it. No. Supreme Court is the same way. If you are the ultimate arbiter of right and wrong, if you are the person that says you're guilty or innocent, you can't be a part of politics. How the fuck does that work? Really? Who did you support in the last election? Oh, Donald Trump, I'm sorry. You're going to be put away for 50 years for this. It's a jaywalking ticket. You supported Donald Trump. Stupid fucking action. No. We cannot have that be a fucking thing. That is, no. Again, that's when people are going to fucking riot. When that kind of shit happens, that's when you're going to get bad fucking nights. And it's going to be universally bad night. We're all going to be streaming. You're either going to be streaming your activities in the riot, or you're going to be streaming the riot. Either you're going to be a fucking part of it, or you're going to be a person watching it at that point. There isn't going to be a, oh, that's only happening in big cities thing. No. It's going to be happening in every one of our streets. People will lose their fucking minds if we get to that point. So, no. We can't have that shit. And this is why I now despise everything that goes along with picking a Supreme Court candidate. The Democrats get up there and say, you're going to do what I want you to do, right? And they say, I can't answer that. And then they bitch and fit and fucking moan about how you can't answer a simple question. You think, fucking Cory Booker, he's my new I hate you today person. And I had to stop Kamala Harris because she was quickly replacing it. And I'm like, I can only talk about so goddamn many of them at once. Cory Booker's like, do you think it's wrong, morally wrong, to separate a parent from their child? Right? And she's like, well, I can't talk about that because that is a political issue. And he's like, well, I'm not even talking about the politics. I'm just saying morally. Do you think it's wrong to take a parent away or the child away from their parent? And she's like, I can't answer that. And he's like, well, I don't understand why that's such a difficult question to answer. And I'm like, because apparently you don't understand the role of the Supreme Court in this country. She can't tell you during her that's bribery. Yes, I think that's terrible. And then every Democrat goes, ooh, I like her. And every Republican goes, did she just tell us a position that she has on something that's going to be fucking coming up soon? What? And then, honestly, watch her do that shit. For real. Watch her do that shit. Yes. I think it's terribly abhorrent to do that. And if there was ever a case that came before me that involved children being taken away from their parents for any reason at all, I would be very much against that. Right? Every Democrat would go, that's fucking awesome. Because they're not going to pay attention to the broader implications of that for any reason at all. Right? Like, they don't care about what that actually means. Oh, so if a parent's beating the shit out of their child, wow, you can't separate them. If a fucked up father is raping his stepdaughter, or God forbid his actual daughter. Oh, no, not under any conditions. That's what Amy said. Not under any conditions. Well, I wasn't thinking about that. Like, it always turns stupid later on. They can't fucking say shit. And even if she said, no, I think the border shit is wrong, you watch every Democrat start going, well, I see no problem with confirming her, actually. And every Republican will go, yeah, I'm not sure about this shit anymore. Because all of a sudden she's tainted herself. She's given herself a political lean on a topic. No. That's the point of the robe, man. You put that fucking robe on and you become neutral. Did I actually say the whole color thing yesterday, or was I just trying to piece it together in my head? I don't remember. People are all manner of different colors. We're a rainbow of opinions, right? I'm really, really red on this topic, and I'm really kind of blue on this one, and it's pretty green. You know, like we have all these different colors in the way that we think, right? And black, for those of you who are not hip to the art, world, black is not a color. Black is the absence of color, or white is. One or the other, or I think they both are, whatever. Maybe black is a shade. Yeah, I think black is a shade and white is the absence of color. So, alright, well, let's pretend that black is white and white is black for the purpose of this. Whatever. Black is now the absence of color, whether that is true or not. Right? So when you put on that black robe, it closes off all of the colored opinions, and now you just have absence of colored opinion. You look on the fact, you look what is declared, what the case is, how it was ruled in the past, what was done with it, where they got the evidence, how the evidence was gathered, what the evidence is. You look through what is the defense. You look at every single aspect of that case as it's ever been tried, ever. And you have to ultimately come up with what you believe is your ruling on it. And then all 9 of the judges get together, and each one sits there with their ruling. Who's going to go first? And then everybody goes, all right. And they go, ah. And then they go, okay. And then they tally up how many of us thought this was bullshit compared to how many of us thought this was great. And they go, oh, came out 5-4 again. Man, this is so weird how we never come out unanimous on anything anymore. And then that's their ruling. Like, that's pretty much how it works. They privately, I believe or they might get together in groups. They gather to discuss this case and all the aspects of it. They go through everything, top down, every little bit and piece of it all. And they hash it out, man, or they figure the fuck out what the ultimate ruling of it should be. Like, where does this fit in the Constitution? How does this fit in actual law? How does this actually fit in practice? Ultimately, what exactly does this law mean as far as this case is concerned? Because it's not as simple as yes and no all the time. It isn't always black and white. There are many shades of gray. I'm doing too many color metaphors at this point. Not everything's so simple, right? Some shit can look really simple. Like, you can see a video of a guy getting chased around his car by the police, and there's kids in the car, and you see him try to jump in the car to get away, and this cop grabs him and shoots him 7 times in the back and go, oh my God, that's just terrible. Right? And you go, how the fuck did this even happen? In front of the kids? Oh my God, that's just horrific. How in the world, at what point did shit break down? to where this fucking happened. Like, what is going on here? You have to look at what happened. Why is this cop chasing this dude around a car? Well, because this dude's victim was screaming that he was kidnapping her kids. Oh. Okay, well that's certainly a reason why the cop would be chasing the guy around the car and not wanting him to get away. Well, I understand that now. But why would he fucking shoot him 7 times in the back like that? Oh, he had a knife in the car. And he was getting in the car and could possibly go after one of the kids. Yeah, okay, I can understand a little bit better why he would get shot. Yep, okay, I get it now. See, not everything's so fucking black and white, is it? Not everything's so goddamn simple. There's things going on, right? You can't just look at one aspect of something from one angle and go, oh, I know what this is. But everybody's trying to do that. And we need to have a group of people who are extremely well versed in our law and in our Constitution, the foundation of our law, and how they work, how they are applied reasonably to a society. Right? We need to figure this shit out. We need to have people who can figure this out definitively. Because when really weird situations happen and we need to set precedent for the future on how this works, we need to know that shit. Because just because it happens once doesn't mean it's never going to happen again. Oh, that already happened. Huh? And just because one group of people decided one way, they could have been wrong or biased or could have been fucked up. Needs a further look. More evidence could come to light. That's another thing. You know, it was a big thing in, the 90s, I think it was. A huge thing in the 90s was revisiting cold cases. Like a huge thing with police, with every detective department in the fucking world. Because when we discovered DNA, holy shit, that was a game changer, wasn't it? And then all of a sudden, all these cold cases started getting solved till it's fucking out of nowhere. We started finding out who serial killers were that had gotten away with shit for forever. We started finding out who the fuck was doing everything. It changed the game. DNA proof changed the fucking game. And there was a whole lot of litigation on whether or not it could be used. How much can we even trust this? A thing that nowadays is an afterthought almost. Oh fuck, did we forget to test DNA? How the fuck did we do that? We always test DNA. No, it's a thing we always do now. In fact, it's a thing that they teach women in safety courses. If somebody's attacking you, scratch the fuck out of them. I mean, if you can get as much flesh and blood underneath your fingernails as humanly possible. Because that way, if you survive, hopefully, you can go, I know who it was, and they can just scrape that shit off. We'll take it to the lab, we'll test it, and we'll go, look at that. He's in the database. He's been arrested for this shit before. Seems pretty open and shut. I think you got a case, right? We scraped this shit from underneath her fingernails. Who else could she have gotten it from? Right? Like, that's awesome. That's great. But there was a huge thing on, can that even be used? Can we even use that? There was a whole lot of defense attorneys that were like, yeah, I don't like the idea of using DNA proof. Because of course not. It would make all of their fucking people guilty. Right? So, and then there was a huge matter of, can it be used retroactively? Can they even use that shit for cold cases? You know, that case was deemed dead. That we're not paying attention to that case anymore. You know what I mean? Like, there was all sorts of shit that went on during that time. And we needed people to make the decision, nope, We're admitting it. Sorry. If a chick walks in with a huge clump of somebody's fucking flesh under her fingernails, we're not going to think that she found this dude sleeping somewhere and like, just scratched him up and then came in like, he tried to rape me. You know what I mean? Like, but, you know, and also, God forbid, if you should happen to not make it, somebody else fucked too, ain't they? Right? So, you know what I mean? They teach that shit. And it's needed. We need that. We need evidence. We need proof. Because we can't just go, oh, well, he certainly looks guilty to me. I mean, this lady came forward and said that he was running a rape gang ring in fucking college. Why would she lie? Oh boy, I don't know. So, yeah, they have to be neutral. They have to be. They have to be. If there's any bias, they can't be trusted to rule impartially. Because that's what it is. Everybody is treated equally under the law. Everybody should absolutely be treated equally under the law. We shouldn't have partisans. We shouldn't know. We should only pick neutral judges. That's it. Period. That's why I like Amy Coney Barrett. Because she says, look, no, I'm not going to say ahead of time. And she's been really good with it. She's been damn good with it. There have been some times where, and they're trying to trick her. Kamal's doing it fucking right now. And what I'm watching is she's trying to fucking trick her. She's like, let's lead you down this fucking path where ultimately, you know. You know what I mean? And it's like, do you think that cigarettes cause cancer? And she's like, yeah. I mean, there's on every pack of cigarettes, it says, Surgeon General warning, shit causes cancer. So, yeah, I think that's pretty well proven. And she goes, do you think that COVID is contagious? And she goes, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? And she goes, do you think that climate change is a thing? And she goes, look, I can't answer that shit, man. And she's like, come on, it's a fact. We're not even discussing opinions here. And she's like, look, man, you frame it however the fuck you want. I can't answer that shit because that shit's coming my way maybe someday. So, no. And that's where I stopped it because I'm just like, oh my fucking God, I can't. So, I'm getting tired of the fear-mongering. The court should absolutely be neutral. All 9 of them should be fucking neutral. Neutral. I didn't like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You want to know why? She wasn't neutral. I don't like Sotomayor. You want to know why? She's not neutral. I like Kavanaugh. I like Gorsuch. I like Barrett. I like Thomas. To a degree, he's getting there. Roberts is fairly good. I like Roberts. I'm glad he's Chief Justice. I think he takes his job pretty seriously. He's pretty fucking neutral. You never really know where the fuck he's gonna land. So I like that. Everybody says that he's on the side of the left, but they only say that because he hasn't ruled in the favor of Donald Trump every fucking time. But he seems pretty fucking neutral to me. I don't know. For a while there, it was, what the hell? Justice Roberts doesn't seem to fucking know what side he's on. Yeah. Like, I kept saying, yeah, exactly. Like, every time somebody would make that point, I'm like, uh-huh. Yeah. All of them should be that way. We should think of all of them that way. Can't even fucking tell what the hell they're thinking half the time. Yeah, because they should be neutral. It shouldn't always make sense to all of us all the time. There should be times where we could look at their decisions and we're confused. Like, huh? Because they were looking at the actual evidence of the case. I'm not. So I'm either going to have to read their fucking, their writings on it, or I just got to go, They knew something I didn't know. It didn't make any sense to me, but I'm not a judge, right? So that's what they all should be. They all should be neutral. I like this chick. She's very neutral. She has opinions. She's a person. But she has said repeatedly, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, when I put on that robe, all that disappears. And I look at the facts. I look at the case. I look at what I'm looking at. And then I look at the Constitution. And I figure out how it all fits. I like that. That's what we need. We need 9 people to do that. Not 4, not 3, not 2, not 1, 9. We need 9 neutral judges that understand why that lady holding that scale and that sword, why that bitch is also wearing a fucking blindfold. The scale's probably heavy, and if she drops it on her foot, I've never seen her wearing shoes. Certainly never steel-toe boots. So she's in danger there, and she's also got a fucking sword. Why is this dumb bitch also wearing a blindfold? She seems pretty irresponsible. You have to understand the totality of the symbolism with the fucking statue. The blindness is exactly that. Blindness. Everybody is weighed equally and punished equally under the law because I don't care what you look like. Get it? It's like, that's what we need, and that's why I like her. Donald Trump thinks that she's going to work for him. Donald Trump thinks that everybody's going to work for him. And the Democrats want somebody that they think is going to work for them. I don't want anybody who wants to work for anybody. I want somebody who wants to be a judge. And she seems like that to me. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe it's because I understand what's coming out of her mouth. I don't know. I understand the difference between a right that is a right you have because it's a right you have, and a right that is a right you have because there's a duty in the right. Right? So, like, there's another thing that's being brought up a lot in this case. There's some case where a guy was saying that he wanted to have a gun even though he had a felony. I guess it was a non-violent felony. I don't know, whatever. So, again, I didn't read the case. But ultimately the thing is, they're saying the right to own a gun is somehow different than the right to vote. That a felon can have their right to vote taken away, but shouldn't have their right to a gun taken away. Right? Personally, I kind of think you lose them both. That's my ruling. Amy Coney Barrett didn't agree with me once. I have no idea what she thinks about it now because she's not allowed to tell me. She hasn't seen the case yet. Right? But at one point, she wrote something that said that, yes, the right to vote should be taken because his right to vote affects everybody that lives in this country. Like, his ability to vote for somebody, you know, fuck you. No. You have proved, through the fact that you not only committed a felony, but you got caught, you don't make good choices. So I don't care who you think should be president, or judge, or mayor, or governor, or whatever. You make bad fucking decisions. I'm not saying I make fucking fantastic decisions. That's why I don't vote up until this year. But I'm not a felon. Right? Like, I didn't make that stupid fucking decision to commit a felony. So, yeah. Fuck you and your right to vote. You shouldn't have committed a felony. Sorry. Should have been smarter than that. Should have been a better person. And I don't think you should be allowed to have a fucking gun. You're a criminal. You're a convicted felon. Give a shit that you fucking served your time. I don't trust you to have weaponry. Because I don't know how close you are to a relapse. Kind of like I wouldn't say, let's keep my cocaine around my ex-cocaine addict friend. Because he's still a cocaine addict, you dumb fuck. Like, I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that every criminal is going to reoffend. But I'm not going to give you the opportunity to kill people when you do it. If you do it. No. 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 Sorry. And again, you make poor decisions. I don't care about your fucking, your opinion as far as who should be elected to rule over me. No. You make dumb fucking decisions. I bet you're a Democrat. Yeah, no. Like, so, and why is it that they're all Democrats? Because the Democrats want to give them everything. They want to give them everything back. Right? Except guns. They just want to take that from everybody. They'll still get guns because they're criminals. But whatever. Right? Like, so, yeah. Whatever. But, yeah. So that's another dumb thing. Alright. So, getting back to the actual video, now that I've explained my position on the Supreme Court. The two things that I'm fucking tired of. I'm tired of the fear-mongering. I'm tired of hearing about how everybody's terrified of this chick. If they're terrified of her, you should be reassuring them that she's going to be a Supreme Court justice, which means she's going to be fair. I'm going to make sure that she's not going to be biased. I'm going to try my best to trick her as much as I can, but if I can't, you know, whatever. I'm going to vote against her anyways because I'm a Democrat, so I hope you understand that calling me doesn't mean anything because we don't control the Senate. Sorry. And we're stupid enough to have made this a non-filibustered issue. We don't need 60 votes anymore. We only need a majority. And that's kind of our dumb fucking fault. So yeah, we're going to see this happen a third time because we're stupid. Sorry. Like, that's what you need to tell them. Because that is the fucking truth. You did this. You guys. All of you. Dumb fucks. So, anyways. The second thing that I am just absolutely fucking tired of, really just all around, I not too long ago I had learned about soft racism, and I have become a quick study of soft racism. I can now smell that shit out wherever it is, and Cory Booker is fucking covered in it. That shit. Soft fucking racism. I listened to his whole fucking diatribe, and all I heard was black people are guaranteed criminals. That's all I fucking heard. We want to look out for them because it's guaranteed that they're criminals. Like, dude, it drives me up a fucking wall now. I can't take it anymore. Whenever I see those fucking studies, like the old videos from years ago, where they did a study on campus of whether or not you use different language when you're speaking to a black person than a white person. You know what I mean? Like, do you kind of dumb down your vocabulary when you're speaking to a black person as opposed to a white person? And so many of these idiot fucking libs are like, oh yeah, of course. And it's like, why would you do that? Well, because they don't understand big words, you know. Like, the soft racism. It's the new racism. And they're blatant about it. And for some odd fucking reason, they get away with being blatant about it. And I think it's because nobody fucking calls it out for what it is. Racism. Like, it's... I'm just so disgusted by it now. And it's all I ever hear from Democrats. This soft racism of low expectations. We expect black people to be criminals. So we need to look out for the criminal element because that's black people. I'm Oh my god, dude. That is not the way every black person is. That is not the way every black person... That is not the way any black person I know is or thinks. Dude. Like, man, it's infuriating to me to sit there and have people call me a racist and then say some of the most racist fucking shit I have ever heard actually come out of a person's mouth in my life. It's these two realities we live in. If you're realistic and you think that things like hard work, a family unit, you know, that sort of shit, if you think that that's whiteness, that's somehow not racist, because it's soft racist. It's based on low expectations. We expect black people to get broken up and divorce each other and not stay together. Even get married, right? We expect that shit because it's what they do, man. Single mothers. It's a single mother culture. What? Like, oh my god, dude. So, yeah, that's enough. I'm done disgusting myself. Yeah, I can't stand the fear-mongering. I can't stand the fucking soft racism. I'm just getting annoyed with the Democrats now at this point with both of this shit. I can't wait for this shit to just be done. I wish they were rushing her through. Like, honestly, I wish they were rushing her through. Apparently there is precedent of a president nominating somebody and them being confirmed in the same day. So one day is, like, that's a precedent thing. That's a thing that happened in the past. So we're on day, what, 14 now since she was nominated? 15, 16, something like that. Kiss my ass, they're rushing it. I wish they were rushing it just to be done with it. The fear-mongering and the soft racism. Just fucking be done with it. So they can go back to applying it to other shit.